Very good afternoon. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. All the developing news stories at the top of this hour coming up ahead. Let us start with the headlines. Vice President Naidu inaugurates a Jaipur foot artificial limb camp in Hanoi. Initiative to benefit thousands of specially abled people. Naidu pays a tribute to Vietnamese revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh to also meet Vietnam's Prime Minister today. State set for 6th phase of Lok Sabha polls, 59 seats across 7 states to vote on 12th of May. Over 71,000 security personnel to be deployed in West Bengal for violence-free polls. Over 10 crore 16 lakh voters to seal fates of 979 candidates tomorrow. Last lap of campaigning for the final phase. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to campaign in Uttar Pradesh, Amit Shah to campaign in Jharkhand and Bihar. Rahul Gandhi to lead Congress's charge in Madhya Pradesh, Mayawati to campaign in Bihar. Indian Air Force gets its first Apache Guardian attack helicopter in the US. Advanced all-weather attack helicopter can engage both air and ground targets to significantly boost Air Force's capability in mountainous terrain. And African National Congress set to return to power in South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa-led party headed towards 6th consecutive win. Party's vote share reduces amid widespread anger over corruption and unemployment. Extending India's friendly hand to Vietnam, a special camp for providing light artificial limbs, Jaipur foot, to specially abled people in Vietnam was inaugurated by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today. Held under the India for Humanity initiative, the camp will provide artificial limbs to thousands of people. Interacting with the beneficiaries, Vice President Naidu said that the initiative is based on Mahatma Gandhi's vision of service and humanism and aims to transform the lives of people. An Indian initiative that could transform the lives of thousands of people across the globe. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated the Jaipur Foot Artificial Limb Fitment Camp in Vietnamese capital, Hanoi. The camp under the India for Humanity program is expected to benefit thousands of differently abled people.
For this, the Government of India has selected one of the great scientific innovations emerging out of the India, which has transformed and continues to transform the numerous lives, namely Jaipur Foot. It's an initiative, I can say it's a great initiative, that provides to the differently abled persons a sense of freedom and a mobility, a sense of dignity and ability to live life fully.
These are beneficiaries of India for Humanity program who have been fitted with the lightweight artificial limbs, Jaipur Foot. The limbs have enabled them to lead their lives with freedom and dignity. The youngest of them is the happiest as he can now play with his friends.
Dễ đi nhưng mà hơi khó.
Đi bình thường không đau.
Đi bình thường không đau, chưa quen.
Okay. Oh, what is he saying?
He said that it's not easy to walk in at first, but then gradually he got used to it, and now it's very easy for him to walk.
Có vui.
He's very happy. Yeah.
India has been holding Jaipur foot camps all over the world under the India for Humanity program to commemorate 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The campaign was launched in Malawi by the Vice President in November 2018.
Last year, the Government of India successfully organized a Jaipur foot camp in the province of Phu and Vinh Phuc, benefiting hundreds of people with disabilities. The positive response among the Vietnamese beneficiaries was overwhelming. The present Jaipur foot limb fitment camp is being organized for the provinces of Quang Ninh, Yên Boi, of Vietnam.
As you have seen, Jaipur food is changing lives and it's transforming lives of people across the globe. It is the same case with Vietnam. This is the third camp in a row organized by India, which has almost helped hundreds of Vietnamese people who now can walk. With camera person Junaid from Hanoi, Rajkamal Rao, Rajya Sabha TV.
And earlier in the day, Vice President Naidu paid a tribute to Vietnamese revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh at the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum in Hanoi today. And Vice President Naidu also paid floral tributes at the bust of Mahatma Gandhi at the premises of the Embassy of India in Hanoi. And now let's get you all the election-related news. Polling for the sixth phase of Lok Sabha elections will take place across 59 seats in 7 states tomorrow. Polling for all the 10 seats in Haryana and 7 seats of Delhi, 14 seats in Uttar Pradesh, 8 seats each in West Bengal, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, and 4 in Jharkhand is going to take place tomorrow. Over 10 crore 16 lakh voters will decide the fate of 979 candidates in this phase. Over 1,13,000 polling stations have been set up for the smooth conduct of the polls. And prominent candidates in this phase are Union Ministers Dr. Harshvardhan, Maneka Gandhi, Narendra Singh Tomar, Radha Mohan Singh, and former Chief Ministers Sheila Dikshit, Digvijay Singh, Akhilesh Yadav, Bhupinder Singh Hooda and Jagdambika Pal. And also in the fray are former Union Ministers Jyotiraditya Scindia, Raghuvansh Prasad Singh, Ajay Makan, Kumari Shailaja, and celebrities turned politicians Manoj Tiwari, Gautam Gambhir, Vijender Singh and Kirti Azad are also trying their electoral luck. Meanwhile, campaigning for the 7th and the final phase of Lok Sabha elections is now picking up pace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to campaign in Uttar Pradesh today. He will address rallies at Robertganj and Ghazipur in the state. Voting in these seats will take place in the 7th phase on 19th of May. And not just the Prime Minister, star campaigners of different political parties are holding rallies and roadshows for the 7th phase. BJP Chief Amit Shah will campaign in Bihar and in Jharkhand today. He will address a public meeting in Hiranpur in Jharkhand. The BJP Chief will also hold a roadshow in Patna in Bihar. BJP has fielded Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad against Shatrughan Sinha of the Congress party from Patna Sahib Lok Sabha seat. And Congress President Rahul Gandhi will campaign in Madhya Pradesh today. He will address 3 rallies today in Shajapur, Dhar and Khargone. And Bahujan Samaj Party Supremo Mayawati will hold rallies in Saharsa and Buxar in Bihar. All right, Akhilesh Suman is joining us from Motihari in Bihar and Navvikram Singh is joining us from Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj. Coming to you first, Akhilesh, speaking about the 6th phase of elections that will take place tomorrow. Of course, the NDA will look to defend its turf in this phase of election because the BJP-led coalition had won all the 8 seats that are going to polls in this penultimate round of Lok Sabha polls. Give us the update on the mood today, just a day ahead of the elections, and what are the key issues of the electorate?
You know, mood is very jubilant, and mood is very jubilant because of the two, alliances, NDA and Grand Alliance is working overnight to attract as much people as they can. And what is striking here in this phase of election, the all 8 Lok Sabha constituency, Mahagathbandhan is trying to make a reverse social engineering. And reverse social engineering means, that forging an alliance with those castes which has not been traditionally vote bank of, RJD, because RJD is the biggest party in Mahagathbandhan. There is some sort of strategic understanding between RJD, Congress and one section of, upper caste, that is Bhumihar, that whether they can support RJD and whether RJD can get support of them. So this two phenomena is very significant, and also from the BJP side, whether they can, break the caste jinx in this election. And if they can break the caste jinx, if they can break the traditional, voting pattern, after 2014, I think there will be a very tough contest. The place where I'm standing, the Motihari, that is called East Champaran constituency, here also is the same, situation. And also in Vaishali, where RJD candidate, Raghuvansh Prasad Singh is fighting election, there also significantly the reverse social engineering might be happening. So in that case, if you ask about the issues are seemingly very much Mahagathbandhan is trying to forge a caste alliance at the micro level, a strategic understanding between different castes, Congress, RJD, biggest alliance partners. Other than that, there are caste parties like Kushwaha party, Manji party. They are all trying to come together. Whether their votes can also transform with this strategic understanding, it will be really interesting to see. So the issues are basically the local issues. One issue is also about unemployment that is being raised by the Grand Alliance. Another issue is also that, migration is one of the issues, that because they don't get employment here, they have to migrate in difficult conditions. But those who have migrated, they are coming back for polling. And this is very beautiful thing that people understand the importance of their voting. They are coming from places like Delhi, Mumbai, Gujarat, many places, and you can see the trains coming from those sides to Bihar. I think they are all coming full. So this is interesting situation. Other things, that India is trying to, garner their votes on the issue of national security. That is very understandable. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself is articulating this issue about the international politics, and Bihar is very aware about these two issues. Very conscious voters are there. And other than that, big development issues are also being raised by BJP, that they are coming with infrastructure, they are coming with big institution, they are trying to provide, potable water, underground water pipes, electricity, and also, that type of gas scheme. So these things have been going to the people. So it will be very interesting to see that these things that has been done by NDA and also JDU Nitish Kumar, whether they get the maximum number of seats, or the caste alliances and the issue of unemployment that is being raised by Mahagathbandhan, that gets. So it is interesting fight between the two types of issues, Aswarya.
Absolutely. And it is very heartening to see that the voters in Bihar, of course, are very aware of their rights and duties. But what is happening in UP as well? Let us try to know. Navikram Singh is joining us from Prayagraj at the moment. Navikram, as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, the Purvanchal area of Uttar Pradesh, 14 seats in this phase are going to polls tomorrow. Of course, we have been talking about the fact that there are a number of star campaigners, of course, Maneka Gandhi, Akhilesh Yadav, Rita Bahuguna Joshi. Their fates are going to be decided in this phase. But what are the people talking of? What are the key issues for them?
ऐश्वर्या, जैसा कि अभी अखिलेश बता रहे थे, पूर्वांचल क्योंकि बिहार से लगता हुआ इलाका है, तो कमोबेश उसी तरीके के मुद्दे हैं और उसी तरीके के सियासी समीकरण हैं। लेकिन जो यहाँ पर अलग बनाता है इसे कि यहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा जो राजनीतिक समीकरण है वो किस पार्टी के पक्ष में जाएंगे, ये उसका भविष्य भी तय करेगा। क्योंकि यहाँ पर अखिलेश यादव आजमगढ़ से चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, तो जाहिर है समाजवादी पार्टी का वो प्रभाव चाहते हैं कि पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में बना रहे। प्रियंका गांधी यहाँ से उनका राजनीतिक भविष्य भी तय होगा। साथ ही पूर्वांचल से मुख्यमंत्री आते हैं, गोरखपुर के रहने वाले हैं, गोरखपुर में वो गोरक्षा पीठ के महंत हैं। ऐसे में अगर पूर्वांचल की सीटें कम होती हैं तो जाहिर है कि जिम्मेदारी उनकी होगी। साथ ही राज्य सरकार के काम की भी परीक्षा होगी। एक तरह से मुद्दे जो हैं यहाँ पर, मुद्दे कमोबेश जो हमने देखे थे पिछले चरणों में कि विकास एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है, कि क्योंकि पूर्वांचल में दिग्गज नेता तो आते रहे, दिग्गज नेताओं की यहाँ पर किस्मत का फैसला यहाँ के मतदाता करते रहे, लेकिन जो सबसे बड़ी मुश्किल है कि पूर्वांचल विकास की राह में कहीं ना कहीं पिछड़ता गया। तो पूर्वांचल और बुंदेलखंड दो ऐसे इलाके हैं जो कि बाकी इलाकों के अपेक्षाकृत आर्थिक तौर पर कमजोर माने जाते हैं। ऐसे में ये मुद्दा है, लेकिन सबसे अहम इस चुनाव में जो मुद्दा नजर आता है वो राष्ट्रवाद का मुद्दा है, राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा का मुद्दा है। राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से मतदाता जब हम बात करते हैं उनसे तो वो राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा की बात करते हैं, साथ ही जो सरकार की योजनाओं का फायदा मिला है उसका फायदा कितना होगा बीजेपी को, क्योंकि सरकार की कई योजनाओं का फायदा जिन लोगों को मिला है वो वोट आता है बीजेपी के खाते में या नहीं, वो यहाँ के समीकरण को दिलचस्प बनाएगा। जी ऐश्वर्या।
All right, of course, sir. So stage is all set really for the 6th phase of Lok Sabha polls. Thank you so much, Navikram, and thank you so much, Akhilesh, for joining us and giving us all the updates from the ground on tomorrow's polling. And of course, apart from that, the 7th phase of elections, the campaigning has picked up pace. Congress President Rahul Gandhi is right now addressing a rally in Shujalpur in Madhya Pradesh. Let's cut across live.
अनिल अंबानी को 30,000 करोड़ रुपए किसने दिया? राफेल घोटाले में हिंदुस्तान की सरकार, नरेंद्र मोदी। नीरव मोदी 35,000 करोड़ रुपए, एक साल का मनरेगा का पैसा एक व्यक्ति को किसने दिया? नरेंद्र मोदी। मेहुल चौकसी 35,000 करोड़ रुपए किसने दिया? नरेंद्र मोदी, हिंदुस्तान की सरकार। तो आप मुझे कैसे कह सकते हैं कि सरकार बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा नहीं डालती? वो तो रोज डाल रही है। चुप हो गए। मैंने कहा देखिए, मैं आप पे दबाव नहीं डालूंगा, आप जाइए, वापस जाइए, पता लगाइए। एक ही शर्त है, हिंदुस्तान की अर्थव्यवस्था नष्ट नहीं करनी, दुकानदारों को, छोटे बिजनेस वालों को, हिंदुस्तान की जो रीढ़ की हड्डी है, युवाओं को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचना चाहिए, मगर गरीबों को मैसेज जाना चाहिए कि आपकी सरकार। आइडिया कहां से आया? नरेंद्र मोदी। मैंने प्रधानमंत्री की आवाज सुनी, मेरे ऊपर रोज आक्रमण करने, मगर मैंने उनकी आवाज सुनी, टीम वापस गई, काम किया, 6 महीने काम किया, फिर आते हैं, भैया पेन दिखाना है। ऐसे कागज पे मेरे सामने 72,000 यूं लिख देते हैं। मैंने कहा ये क्या है? 72,000 ये क्या है? 72,000 पैसे, 72,000 रुपए, 72,000 लोग, 72,000 साल, क्या है? मुझे कहते हैं राहुल जी आपने कहा था 25 करोड़ लोगों को पैसा देना है, 72,000 रुपए एक साल के, 3,60,000 रुपए 5 साल के, 6,000 रुपए महीने के, 5 करोड़ परिवारों को हिल गया। मैं सच बताऊं, थोड़ा मैं घबरा गया। मैंने कहा ये 72,000 रुपए 5 करोड़ परिवारों के बैंक अकाउंट में, इससे नुकसान तो नहीं होगा? मैंने आपसे कहा था नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए, दुकानदारों का फायदा होना चाहिए, नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए। हम नोटबंदी जैसा काम नहीं करना चाहते, गब्बर सिंह का जैसा काम नहीं करना चाहते, हिंदुस्तान की जो मेन स्ट्रेंथ है, शक्ति है, अर्थव्यवस्था, उसको नष्ट नहीं करना चाहते। मुस्कुराए, पूरी टीम मुस्कुराती है, कहती नहीं कुछ नुकसान नहीं होगा। मैंने कहा कैसे? आप कैसे कह सकते हो कि हिंदुस्तान की सरकार 72,000 रुपए दे दे, 5 करोड़ लोगों को नुकसान ना हो? कहते राहुल जी हम समझाते हैं आपको 2 मिनट में।
So campaigning there on in full strength as far as the 7th and the final phase of Lok Sabha elections is concerned. Meanwhile, talking about the 6th phase, all the 10 constituencies of Haryana are voting in the 6th phase of the Lok Sabha election, and elaborate security arrangements have been made to ensure free and fair polling. Our correspondent Ravindra Singh Shoran spoke to the Chief Electoral Officer of Haryana. Let's take a listen.
सर, क्या तैयारियां कर ली गई हैं चुनाव के लिए?
चुनाव के लिए पूरी तैयारी कर ली गई है। सुरक्षा के सारे प्रबंध जो है ना पूरे कर लिए गए हैं। प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर की ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट है। आज उनका जो है ना डिस्पैच चला जा रहा है।
कितने सुरक्षा बल तैनात किया गया है? अगर एक मोटा आइडिया दें। सीएपीएफ के कुछ जवान हैं और बाहर से भी कुछ पुलिस बल बुलाए गए हैं।
हाँ, हमारे यहाँ 85 पुलिस कंपनी जो है इसमें तैनात किए गए हैं। इसके अलावा जो स्टेट पुलिस के अलावा जो है जो दूसरे फोर्सेज होते हैं, होमगार्ड्स होते हैं और स्पेशल पुलिस फोर्सेज जो होते हैं वो भी तैनात किए गए हैं।
वोटिंग है सर, वोटिंग का समय जो है वो क्या निर्धारित किया गया है, और अगर कहीं मशीन में गड़बड़ होती है तो उसको बदलाव के लिए आप लोगों के पास क्या सुविधा है?
वोटिंग का समय रहेगा आपका सुबह के 7 बजे से लेकर के शाम के 6 बजे तक। परंतु अगर आप 6 बजे पहुंचते हैं, वहां पर लाइन जो है लंबी है, तो जो लोग भी 6 बजे लाइन में लग जाएंगे उन सभी को वोट डालने दिया जाएगा। ईवीएम के रिप्लेसमेंट के लिए जो ना हमने जो ना पुख्ता इंतजाम किए हैं। सारे सेक्टर ऑफिसर्स की गाड़ियां जो ना घूम रही है, उन गाड़ियों के ऊपर जो ना जीपीएस फिट है और उन सभी गाड़ियों में जो ना एक मशीनें भी रख दी है, ताकि जो ना जल्दी से जल्दी जहां भी ईवीएम में कोई मैकेनिकल प्रॉब्लम होती है तो उसको हम ठीक कर सकें।
कुछ स्टेशंस पे वेबकास्ट की सुविधा भी है।
हाँ, हमारे 1080 पोलिंग स्टेशन ऐसे है जिसकी जो ना वेबकास्ट जो ना होगी, और आप सामने जो आप स्क्रीन देख रहे हैं, इसी स्क्रीन के ऊपर जो ना वेबकास्टिंग नजर आएगी।
Let's get you some other news now. The first Apache helicopter has been formally handed over to the Indian Air Force. Apache Guardian attack helicopter was formally handed over to the Indian Air Force at a Boeing production facility in Mesa in Arizona on Friday. Air Marshal A.S. Bhatula accepted the first Apache in a ceremony at a Boeing production facility. Now, representatives from the U.S. government were also present. In addition the addition of the Apache helicopter is a significant step towards modernization of the Indian Air Force's helicopter fleet. Now, the helicopter will significantly boost Indian Air Force's capability in mountainous terrain. It has the capability to carry out precision attacks at standoff ranges and operate in hostile airspace with threats from the ground. The ability of these helicopters to transmit and receive the battlefield picture through data networking makes it a lethal acquisition. Indian Air Force had signed a contract with the U.S. government and Boeing Limited in September 2015 for 22 Apache helicopters. The first batch of these helicopters is scheduled to be shipped to India by July this year. And Etihad Airways has submitted a financial bid for Jet Airways. The State Bank of India-led consortium of lenders said on Friday that it has received bids from Etihad Airways and from a few unsolicited parties to take stake in the grounded airline. After the first round of bids, private equity firms, Indigo Partners and TPG, Etihad Airways and the sovereign fund NIIF were shortlisted. Etihad, the Gulf carrier, which acquired 24% stake in Jet in 2013, also evinced its interest to reinvest in a minority stake in the carrier. The consortium of 26 lenders, which now owns 51% in the airline, had invited expression of interests between 8th and 12th of April and had received 4 preliminary bids. The lenders are offering about 32% to 75% stake in the company on a fully diluted basis. And India is observing National Technology Day today. The day is observed every year on 11th of May to commemorate the anniversary of Pokhran nuclear test that was held in 1998. President Ramnath Kovind extended his greetings to the scientific community. In a Twitter message, President Kovind said that India is committed to using technology to accelerate the developmental process and ensure a dignified existence for every citizen. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also wished the people on the National Technology Day. He said that India remembers with immense pride the accomplishments of our scientists on this day in 1998. He hoped that India will continue leveraging the power of technology for national progress. And the top international focus, the US and Chinese trade negotiators failed to break an impasse following 2 days of globally watched trade talks. US President Donald Trump said that talks between Washington and Beijing will continue even after the deadline passed on Friday for them to reach an agreement. Donald Trump also ordered his top officials to begin the process to raise the tariffs on almost all the imports from China, amounting to about $300 billion. This in addition to the Friday's hike to 25% from 10% on goods worth $200 billion from China. In a series of tweets, Donald Trump described the talks as candid and constructive, but he indicated taking a tough approach against massive imbalance of trade with China. After Friday's tariff increase, China says that it deeply regrets the US's action and would have to take necessary countermeasures. However, Trump says that U.S.-China relations remain very strong despite the two countries being embroiled in a trade war. The U.S.-China trade war has weighed on the global economy over the past years and has created uncertainty for businesses and consumers. And big international story coming in from South Africa. The African National Congress is all set to return to power in the country for the 6th consecutive time. However, the party saw a significant dip in its vote share as it faced anger and disillusionment among the voters due to rising corruption and unemployment. With over 96% of the votes counted, Cyril Ramaphosa-led ANC has secured almost 58% of the votes. The party, which has been in power since 1994, won 62% support in the last general election in 2014. And the previous opposition, Democratic Alliance, is returning as the official opposition in South African National Parliament with 28% of the votes in its favour. And the third party, namely the Economic Freedom Fighters, that was founded 6 years ago by former ANC youth leader Julius Malema, was third in place with 10.51% of the votes. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks so much for your time.